begin with Carson Quigley.
Holy cow!
Carson will graduate this spring with the Bachelor of Science in Exercise Physiology. Along with being the team's senior captain this season, Carson was a 2023-24 IWLCA Academic Honor Roll member and All-ODAC Academic Team selection. While also at Lynchburg, she was a chemistry pass leader and an intramural sports referee. Her favorite memory with the Hornets was scoring a goal in the same game and the team's trip to Florida. Next year, she will head to Charlottesville to attend UVA's Masters in Athletic Training program. Today, she is joined by her parents and her siblings, Claire and Kevin.
You're keeping your tooth very busy for sure.
Now we'd like to honor Reagan Bradley. Reagan will graduate this spring with a degree in political science. While at Lynchburg, she was an all-ODAC academic team member and an active member in the Pre-Law Society. Following graduation, Reagan plans on attending law school. Her favorite athletic memory with the women's lacrosse team in the Hill City has been the spring break trips with the team. Today, she is joined by her parents, Jennifer and Brian Burton, along with her sister, Jillian, and boyfriend, Dylan. Next up, we will honor Meredith Bornholt. Meredith will graduate with a degree in elementary education and special education enrichment. While at Lynchburg, she was a member of SET and the KKP Education Honor Society, the winner of the Delta Kappa Gamma Education Award, inducted into the Teachers of Promise Institute, the 2024 Academic All-District Selection, and a Dean's List student every semester. On the field, Meredith was a two-time All-ODAC selection, a second-team All-State selection last season, and earned an ODAC Player of the Week award this past week. Her favorite memory as a Hornet was beating Randolph-Macon last year in the Code Red Games. Next year, she will move to Charlottesville, Virginia with fellow senior Carson and start teaching this August. A message from Meredith for the team. Always give 100% every day because it goes by fast, and soon it will all be over. Today, she is joined by her parents, Scott and Betsy, and her brother, Reed. And finally, we honor Jenny Norco. Jenny will graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing with a minor in Psychology. While at Lynchburg, she was a member of the Psi Chi International Honor Society in Psychology, the National Honor Society of Leadership and Success, the Phi Eta Sigma National Honor Society, and Dean's List all 4 years. After graduation, Jenna plans to work as a nurse in a hospital close to home, in any area of practice, to help make a positive difference. While at Lynchburg, her favorite memory with the team was the trip to Florida. Jenna today is joined by her parents, Janet and Nick, and her siblings, Emily, Megan, and Connor. Ladies and gentlemen, one more round of applause for your Lynchburg seniors.
Put the cold behind you. It is a warm afternoon and a beautiful setting here in Lynchburg, Virginia. Guess we're in the evening hours now for a Hill City rivalry, and we understand this one is not only just a 10-minute geography battle, it's senior day here on Schellenberger Field as the Randolph Wildcats make the drive to face the Lynchburg Hornets, a team that is 7-3 to start this campaign, continuing to roll through ODAC play, and they have bigger aspirations ahead. Just about a month left as we start reaching the postseason, really close to when it starts mattering, and we're so excited you're joining us for another very fantastic edition of Women's Lacrosse. Evan Gates alongside my good friend Kyle Haney. Kyle, this is a Lynchburg team that has dominated in their wins this season, and obviously a few losses that have come down to single digits, a one-goal game versus Randolph-Macon since we last talked, but Lynchburg wants to put up some big numbers in this one.
Hornets are playing really good lacrosse right now, Evan. This is game number 11 on the season for Lynchburg. They've been over the 20-goal mark 4 times, including in the victory against Southern Virginia. That was earlier this week. They beat SVU 20-3. Lynchburg has won 5 out of 6. The blip in that 6-game radar there was a 1-goal loss to Randolph-Macon on the road in Ashland, a game that Lynchburg was right in there, had a chance to win. Seems like they've put that bad taste in their mouths behind them there with a great win against Southern Virginia. And now it's a little Rivermont Avenue versus Lakeside Drive battle with the Hill City rivalry renewed. Randolph in town. No, they're already in town, but Randolph here on the turf at Schellenberger to take on Lynchburg.
Well, a lot of history going on in this one because not only are some of the players going against those across town, it's the former coach, Bruce Reed, coming back to Lynchburg to face the Hornets. And this one, obviously, if you remember, Coach Reed at Lynchburg for quite some time, now the interim at Randolph, and he had successful times here in the Hill City as well. You just got to understand this. There is going to be a lot of emotion. You understand that the seniors who are being recognized on Senior Day for Lynchburg were recruited by Coach Reed, but a new culture, and the Mackenzie Rafferty era is off to a good start. Year number 2, they're 4 games above 500.
Yeah, year 2 for Coach Raff. She really, I think, is loving the way this season is unfolding. And, you know, if you talk to a lot of coaches in a lot of different sports, they'll tell you, yes, you're going to see some growth in year 1, but year 2 is when you really feel like you sink your teeth into things as a coach. You've kind of put your stamp on the new program, and you've got to get one of your recruiting classes in here. So that's helpful as well for Coach Rafferty. I think she really loves the direction that her team is taking, the trajectory for the Hornets.
Well, you really understand this. The wins have been in lopsided fashion, 6 of the 7 by double digits for Lynchburg this season, and it's a Randolph team that's still searching for his first W of this campaign. They're going to try and hang tough with the Hornets. We'll take a look at some of the numbers, and this Lynchburg team obviously has a very defensive identity, but the offense has exploded this year, averaging 15 goals per game. You see the shots numbers, the clear percentage as high as always, and Kyle, it's really difficult to nitpick this team because all the numbers are headed in the right direction.
Yeah, in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, Lynchburg leads in goals per game at the 15-goal mark there that you see. Also leading shots per game, and I think that's qualitative and quantitative for Lynchburg. I think they're getting a lot of shots. I also think they're getting really good shots too, Evan.
Well, the entire committee has started to wake up. You're seeing some of the mainstays in the offensive rotation not only have to get goals, but they're allowing their partners and the entire team to contribute in a big way. So the rest of the story will be uncovered on the other side. National anthem time here on Schellenberger. Lynchburg, Randolph on the other side. Back in Lynchburg, Evan Gates and Kyle Haney will take a look at our players to watch. For Randolph this season, it's been difficult to get some of those goals, but Mackenzie Woodson has been the one to lead this team, 4 goals and an assist in this 2025 campaign. And Kyle, obviously, you try to look to the future. You try to build that culture. You've got to start with that front runner on the offense. Mackenzie Woodson's been that one to try to contribute.
Yeah, junior from Norfolk, Virginia. She'll be obviously well regarded by the Lynchburg defense. They'll know where Mackenzie Woodson is at and try to shut her down at all times. I think Lynchburg really, I know we weren't going to jump on this topic, but I think the Hornets have been really good about trying to shut down the other team's premier goal-scoring option. We've seen that really be a focal point of the defensive game plan so far this year.
Well, the defense has been lights out. There's no doubt about that. We've talked about it, especially with the clear percentage, but the offense has been waking up, and it's not just the veterans, but the newcomers as well. Look no further than Liz Poitras, number 23 for this Hornets squad, a freshman who came in and tallied her second hat trick of the year last time out versus SVU.
Love what Liz Poitras is bringing to this ball club, and she really, footwork and stick skills, she's got that perfect combination, and she's still learning the collegiate game, but yeah, when you've got multiple hat tricks your first year, I think you're already set for the big time, and the spotlight not too bright for Liz Poitras.
Well, you feel like at the start of the year, you already had a really strong offense. You're just adding a few pieces here and there. It has really opened up opportunities, and especially for someone like Sydney Dumas, who we've talked about so often throughout her career. She's still getting hat tricks, but talking with Coach Rafferty earlier this week, she said, you know, it's nice to kind of be able to open up new avenues because it's no longer just Dumas and company. You're getting those contributions left and right, and she's getting looks she's never gotten in her career.
Sydney Dumas also had a hat trick on the road in Buena Vista when Lynchburg took down Southern Virginia, and Lynchburg will get the first draw control. They're in the offensive zone quickly. And Evan Gates, let's see how fast the Hornets try to attack or if they exercise some patience on this opening possession.
We saw it last time out versus Ferrum here on Schellenberger. This is a team that doesn't wait around, but they also take patient looks, and they are very strong offensively with their cuts. We'll see who they elect to go with as Steinow dodges, goes straight down Main Street this time over the pipe. But the Hornets will maintain possession. Another senior we'll be recognizing today, Jenna Norco.
4 seniors for Lynchburg. Can't wait to talk more about them. Had a fantastic senior day ceremony. Watch out for the junior, Sydney Dumas.
Oh, wow, making collisions left and right. She goes around and in for the first goal of the contest and making it look smooth as butter.
I mean, Sydney Dumas on the steering wheel, then she slammed the brakes, put the foot back on the gas, and the finish for number 7, Sydney Dumas. She's got goals now in 10 of 11 contests this year.
Well, interesting enough, I believe that first game against CNU was the one that we didn't see, and this is a career for Dumas that has basically been every single game. She is either scoring, she's starting, she's doing something, and it has been impressive because, I mean, you really feel like she's a senior and she's still got one more season left.
I know. It's incredible what she has done in the Lynchburg uniform, and you're right. Did not score in that opening game against CNU. Really didn't play that much in that game because of injury, so it's hard to hold that one against her. Let me give you the career stats. She's played in 46 for Lynchburg. She's scored in 44 of them.
Goodness.
She's only not scored twice in games in her career on Lakeside Drive.
It's hard when you have big shoes to fill. We've talked about Leah Dumas, her sister, but she has come in and really become her own. I mean, you have this identity of this team that has really revolved around the junior class. You think about Sydney Dumas, Neely Morris, McKenna Steinow, but the seniors have really been the anchor. You think about Meredith Bornholt in the back. A lot of these players learning from the best. The Hornets learning on offense every way it comes. Reagan Bradley strikes for goal number 2.
Yeah, there's a senior, Reagan Bradley, goal number 9 of the season. She kind of went side questing in there and pounded the back of the cage. Good sportsmanship, too, there. You can see a defender get knocked over, and Reagan Bradley was the first to help her up. So we see some dance moves from Sydney Dumas. She's obviously happy about the 2-goal advantage.
I think the sideline was as well. I think they unveiled a new celebration as we'll take another look, and Bradley just patient. That's a great cut, waiting for the right time, and not much you can do in goal at that situation as the Hornets fire at home. It's Mariah Norville in goal for the Wildcats. This season 19.14 goals against average, but she has really been peppered in the frame, and you just recognize that she still has 58 saves on this season, so she's still had some defensive contributions despite some of those crooked numbers.
Yeah, she's a sophomore from Florida. She actually made a pretty good play in space to run down a ground ball previously in that sequence, but you're right, she's been under heavy duress all season long. We'll see how the Hornets proceed after getting the early 2-0 advantage.
They have really started to wake up earlier and earlier. Every game it feels like they are ready to fire. And this Hornets offense in the first 2 minutes have already put up a pair.
I think the idea will be to get all the seniors goals today, Evan. And yes, I'm including Meredith Bornhold in that. The defender in her big-time illustrious career actually does not have a goal. So I think that might be on the agenda today.
Well, there's one. Jenna Norco just rolls this one on in, takes a late deflection, and she has her first goal of the contest. Jenna Norco, somebody who always seems to find her way onto the stat sheet, goal number 7 of the season. So you've got Bradley and you've got Norco.
Yep, 2 of those 4 seniors crossed off the list. That leaves Carson Quigley and Meredith Bornholt. Carson Quigley's got 5 goals this year. She ran a cut down the middle earlier in the sequence. Lynchburg tried to get her the ball, and the pass was a little off target. So I think, again, that yes, you have to win the game. You have to play the game the right way. But I think if you could get all 4 of your seniors' goals, get Meredith Bornholt career goal number 1, that would be a really satisfying way to have your senior night fun. And, yes, Lynchburg does have more home games. We were talking about that. But this is the final Saturday home game for Lynchburg, so I think that's why they wanted to have the senior night tonight. And you do, after all, have seniors like Bornholt, who's from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Do have to make a few travel arrangements.
That's right.
That's not just a day trip. I mean, for some it might be.
Yeah, you could do that in a day. But yes, probably can't drive back to Cincinnati all in one day.
Yeah, your boss might not be too happy. Now, I will say this. If we're talking about Meredith Bornholt trying to get a goal today, Tyler Hadley did have a goal last year and for Lynchburg and goal on the men's side. I think Bornholt can make it happen if we've seen that.
Absolutely. She does have 2 career assists, so clearly a talented player. She just needs a goal. She got some shots, just needs a goal. As Lynchburg will fight to win a possession back with just over a dozen minutes to play in the first quarter.
Well, you said clearly. I mean, clears might be name of the game because Bornholt in this defense clearing at about 86% this season. And so if the Hornets are pinned back and they have to move forward, I have to imagine it might just be one of those plays where the Hornets advance by foot.
Yeah, she's such a ringleader defensively back there. Still talking about Meredith Bornholt. Got to shift their focus to the Lynchburg offense again as a whistle blows. I think Reagan Bradley's going to get a free position opportunity here, Evan.
Well, I liked the option there as well because we saw corner number 9 in white just trying to almost set a pick and get that separation. Now Bradley is the free position. She has another goal, lasers it in, bottom left, and it just looks simple for this offense coming in bunches. And this team now with some new offensive options into the game is going to continue pressing forward.
Strano and Poitras, 2 of the 3 reinforcements that came out there. Congratulations to Reagan Bradley on a multi-goal game. 10 on the season now for the senior from Ocean Pines, Maryland.
She had such a breakout year last year, and that is really one of the points of emphasis that so many have talked about on this Lynchburg team because we have seen some of those mainstays for the last few seasons, but Bradley's somebody who was relied upon pretty heavily. And you think about some of the losses from previous years, even someone like Alla Daniel, who had a lot of goals and a lot of contribution on the stat sheet. Well, Bradley came in, and though you can't necessarily just get it in one player, there were several that stepped up.
No doubt about it. Really, the team concept on full display for Lynchburg this year. Whistles will blow again. But I love what you're saying there about, players from the past like Alla Daniel, how so much contribution from them, and you got to be the bridge to the next generation too, and that's always fun when you get to meet new faces. Little false start there on the free position, I believe.
Saw several of those earlier in the track meet. Turn the page to the turf today, and Hossauer was ready to strike. Better save from Randolph, and we've already mentioned Mariah Norville. Few strong plays here in this first quarter despite giving up 4.
Yeah, really, I think she's got great skills. I think you're seeing part of the problem with Randolph is they don't get cleared quickly. It's not a save and go. It's not a counterattack. Everybody just kind of became stagnant, not enough movement, and in the end they're going to have to give the ball back to Lynchburg because of that.
Obviously difficult when this Hornets defense is so stifling. Just continue to press forward. Steinau was ready to find the angle. They'll get another free position look. This is one of 6 games in this span where Randolph has been at home. So the only blip in the schedule, and you could almost say that Randolph's still at home. They're just 10 minutes away. Steinau elects to go outside. Hornets reversing. Now Norco.
Yeah, Randolph kind of got their pregame warm-up started late. You and I wondered if maybe they got warmed up over at Randolph. I mean, I suppose that would be an option available to you as a coach.
Exactly right. Just get the bikes, too. Maybe just bike to the stadium.
Yeah.
You'd be ready to go. Under 60 on the shot clock. Lynchburg rifling and stifling. Another strong look from the left side. Options available. And this time, it's not Haas Sweet. It's Haas Sauer who gets goal number 5.
So good right there, partner. Great cut, great passing, and then she really doesn't have a big angle to work with on the move down left of the pipes there, but complete accuracy with the rifle and a wonderful call by you. Wonderful feeling for Lynchburg as they now lead 5-0.
Can't take all the credit for the saying, because we got to give a shout out to Mr. Hassauer. Got a chance to talk with him last season, and he said, this is how we make sure that people know how to pronounce the last name, because it's such a different one. But Lynchburg has enjoyed their time on Shelley, and they are starting to dominate. First 5 minutes, they've already got a 5-piece on the scoreboard. We'll be right back.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and ropes course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
11 our time on Senior Day as we head back to the circle. Lynchburg and the home whites, Randolph the visiting blacks. We're having a good time. Evan Gates and Kyle Haney on a beautiful Saturday evening. We've had some nice sunsets in the Hill City the last few days. Wondering if we're going to get treated to another. A little cloudy today and overcast. It does kind of help the fact it's almost 80 degrees at the end of March. Go ahead and roll your dice if you're trying to figure out what to wear on a March or April day in Virginia.
Second Saturday of spring. Yeah, and you're right. We had gotten used to that cold stuff. You opened up the show talking about say goodbye to that. Welcome the heat. Over 80 with some humidity in the air, too. It's definitely got a not a muggy feeling, but you can feel that summer could be right around the corner somehow, even though we're in early spring.
It's so scary. I mean, you think about the fact, we had earlier today, obviously, a lot of sports events going on at Lynchburg. A lot of teams from up north making the trek here, and You know, we used to say if you see somebody with their shirt off and the conditions are like, oh, yeah, they're probably from the north if they can handle it. Well, I think it's just hot enough at this point where everybody has their shirts off or they're able to just get a tan because it is starting to get there.
Let's see where Lynchburg goes this time.
Oh, wow. Dumas. Connect 4. Oh, my goodness. That was as good as it gets. Kyle Haney gives him an alley-oop, and Sydney Dumas slams it shut.
Well, you could see her kind of start this run from up top, and clearly Lynchburg was looking for Sydney Dumas. I mean, the skills, again, to catch that pass on the move, obviously right on target there from Reagan Bradley, great assist. But then Dumas, when she gets that close, it's game over from that point forward. Her speed, I mean, it's just a burst, Evan. It's so exciting to watch.
She is slithery, and it's interesting because we've seen several games this year, and again, you don't want to use a small sample size to reflect the full picture, but Dumas has struggled against some of the goalies really close, or when you're looking almost basically in the crease. It feels like it has been a different ball game these last few times out. Dumas, obviously, a nice performance against SVU, and she's still building on it.
Yeah, good point, though, about maybe some early struggles. And, of course, her struggles are different than everybody else's. Her struggles mean she only scores 2 or 3 goals a game. But you're right. Nice to see her really unlocking the code there and being able to score from in close, medium range, and even some long-range shots here or there for Sydney Dumas.
She came into this contest already with 27 goals, and it just feels like it is getting easier and easier. Obviously, not someone who's necessarily going to be your distributor, and I don't think you want her to be if she's operating the way that she can. But we're just seeing the Hornets, like Reagan Bradley on that last time out. There's so many different Hornets who are making those passes to the cutters, like right now, right on the doorstep. And the options are available this time via Margaret Scoggin, who's on the board.
Another great pass. Scoggin in deep there, but the goalie just does not have a chance to stop that. Perfect passing. Player movement and then ball movement for Lynchburg. It is a really good combination. Right now, Reagan Bradley again. I mean, she's the point guard back there dealing the cards, Evan.
Wow, I like the pass almost top shelf and still just putting it right where Scoggin can reach it. You know, sometimes you might have to almost take your stick and move it to a different angle or shorten it. You're allowing everybody to extend out and have that full velocity on the shot, and it looked really comfortable for Scoggin.
It did. It did. For Randolph, you know, they're kind of on their heels right now. They got to win a draw control. Randolph just really has not touched the ball that much in this one. Credit Lynchburg. Let's see if the Wildcats can dig in, get something on the face-off, and maybe just get a shot going, just accumulate a few positives right now if you're Randolph.
Well, it's oddly reminiscent of the other day when the Lynchburg men's team faced Hampton-Sydney. That was the struggle in that first quarter. Hampton-Sydney just couldn't even get a face-off, and it felt like the Hornets dominated thereafter. Similar scoreline here in the first quarter.
Well, let me make a point about that here. I want to be careful. I don't want to step on you for another Lynchburg goal as the Hornets are kind of sizing things up again. But a point of order on that note. I'll make it now. Lacrosse, our game is so interesting in that way because most other sports, when you score, the other team gets the ball. The team that got scored on gets the ball.
That's
right.
Think
basketball, think soccer, et cetera, et cetera. And baseball is obviously a little different. But that's what makes lacrosse so interesting. You can get on a 7, 8, 9 goal run and really not be that much better than the other team, but momentum is so huge. Draw control or face off in the men's game, so important. And that's why you got to really practice those areas and really be good in those areas.
Absolutely, and we talk about wanting a possession stat in soccer so often. I think it might be more valuable in lacrosse because, like you said, I mean, you know, you can only learn so much from those draw controls, but again, how long are you possessing? I mean, Randolph has really played defense for the first 7 or 8 minutes of this game, and another reason why Reagan Bradley just lighten up the stat sheet here early and continuing this train forward.
Put the hat on Reagan Bradley. That's goal number 11 this season. The senior having fun on senior day. She might do the old hat trick in goals and hat trick and assist on a day like today. Bradley's really feeling it.
Something Coach Rafferty mentioned about this squad is their ability to freelance out of plays. That's something that really is helped out by the IQ. And this is a squad that in the second year for Coach Rafferty, it feels like a different feeling in the air. I mean, you understand these players have used their IQ in the past, and they have continued to grow. But this has just been a different ability.
Well, and I think that's still a credit to Coach Rafferty, because you have to have the confidence and the belief in your team to let them do that, to encourage them to freelance a little bit. So you teach them the game in practice, you go over all those scenarios, and then you just let them go play. You know, you don't try to call a lot of plays. You don't try to script too much. You just let the ladies play. And this seems to be a Lynchburg team that is really thriving in that kind of environment, that kind of freelance style. And, hey, when you've got the skills like a lot of these Lynchburg players do, that style really can work.
Stick skills have been on full display, and once again, you're just seeing the Hornets catch a break. A little bit of a different look on the draw from Randolph. Tried to just pull it, and this time still unsuccessful. You see how quickly the Hornets advance past the restraining lines. Great insertion to Carson Quigley. That would have been senior number 3, just off the mark.
I believe that was Neely Morris on the pass, little wraparound sidearm pass. That was fantastic. Let's see how Randolph can do in the clear this time.
Just trying to buy a whisper or a second, and none have worked out. Lynchburg was ready to go. This time, Jenna Norco, no, they're going to concede possession. Never mind that. The Hornets still have it. A little bit of a different organization, but Lynchburg's right back to business. So tough trying to read words from a mile away.
Yeah, we need those referees mic'd up. Eventually that'll happen, and we'll get to hear everything. You'll hear the ref say, no, you stay, you go over there, those kinds of things, and it'll make so much more sense to us up here.
Hopefully they're not saying, what are the broadcasters looking at? They keep staring at us.
Good save again there from Norville. I know she's yielded 8, but I really think she's done a fine job for Randolph. And, you know, it's hard to say that without sounding critical to the Randolph defenses. They might get a clear hill here. Oops, ball just kind of popped out of the basket for number 6, Stephanie Gutierrez.
Just feels like Lynchburg, when they score, it is an absolute storm. I mean, going into that last game at home versus Ferrum, they had outscored opponents 60-6 in their mini 3-game winning streak, and that got extended to the Panthers game. Just one blip against Randolph-Macon, and I think the Hornet squad will feel a little upset about dropping that one, knowing Randolph-Macon is right where they are in the middle of the table. But you're starting to see the Hornets handle business when they should, and I think that's the first step for consistency.
Absolutely. You want to spring some upsets here or there, of course, but I think you're right. Win the games you're supposed to win. Hold serve at home for the most part, and Lynchburg is doing those things as Norville will get her hands on another loose ball. Randolph's going to try to work it up the sideline. Yeah, Wildcats had something there, but the long pass slightly off target.
That's what's so difficult when this Lynchburg team just makes you press back, and we've seen this defense just continue to get pinned as Jenna Norco, surveyed, decides to pass it off. I think holding serve is absolutely the right phrase to use. This Lynchburg team, when they have supposed to come up big, they have. And, I mean, you think about this. There are so many tight games at the end of the Lynchburg season, and you know those teams are coming. You think about the Shenandoahs and the Roanoke's of the world that are just waiting for you. You've got to take care of business now, and while it might not necessarily show as much about what you're capable of doing the rest of the way, Lynchburg knows they can go into that game with confidence, and then furthermore, be prepared for the ODACs.
Well, fantastic point by you. Top 8 get in the ODAC tournament, so you got to take care of business and get there, and then you want to be playing your best lacrosse at the end. I think this Lynchburg team will be. So a little bit better breakout there from Randolph on the clear. Norville passed it and then got it back. That's a great way to break down one of those hard-charging, full-field ride teams like Lynchburg is doing. Get it right back to the goalie, because you could see Lynchburg sent 2 to the direction Norville passed, and then she gets it back and she's open. So Randolph needs to do a little bit more of that. I know it's easy to say from up here. Of course, everything's easy from up here, Evan, but let's see if the Wildcats can get that going. We've got to get a stop here first, though.
Well, the Hornets have been cutting all over the field. Neely Morris knots it home. What a season for Neely. She has continued to come up big in so many categories. We knew her from the draw controls and what she has done in the midfield. Well, 23 goals, 11 assists coming into this contest. She's just adding on.
So good. Had 4 on the road in Buena Vista against Southern Virginia. 1 here. Jenna Norco with the on-target pass there Neely Morris coming right down Main Street. Lynchburg's had a lot of success just cutting right down the middle. Wildcats need to make some kind of adjustment to try to take that away.
It's very difficult to prevent that because, you know, the Hornets, even when they're cutting, they have second and third options, and the way they've spread the field out today, I mean, they will shoot from anywhere on the field. They haven't had to in the past because the cutting has been so successful, but you think about players like Dumas who will take a stab at it from a little further out. It's just a matter of time.
Diversify that offense to where even in this game, even in the game you're playing, you become hard to defend, but also you get that on tape now, and your future opponents have to be aware of all those different options. So that's part of, again, becoming a program that is a consistent winner, and that's what Lynchburg is doing. Back to the trajectory. I mean, things are looking really good right now for the Hornets as Dumas powers by a defender to get the offensive possession started.
Almost already triggering that running clock here in the first quarter, of course, 10 or more. And Lynchburg's offense is not only being efficient, but they're doing so really without a high number of shots. 16 on the board, but how many of those have resulted in second chances?
Yeah, I don't think the Hornets have really gotten loose or lackadaisical at all. I think there's a high focus right now. And Lynchburg, you can tell what this win means to them. And they want to win it with an exclamation point as well.
This rivalry, Randolph and Lynchburg, it's historical in so many different sports. Obviously, we know Randolph at one point in time was an all-women's college. So in a lot of the men's sports, it's still young as Hornets trying to wrap around. Oh, wow, running into traffic. Steinow hits the turf. Couldn't tell if there was contact directly to the face. Wow.
Did you see Sydney Dumas there? I'm obviously not laughing at the injury. It was Sydney Dumas came up and gave her a little kiss on the other cheek, actually. She didn't actually kiss the boo-boo there. It was the other side.
But, it's like the Queen's kiss.
Exactly.
Just a little formality.
Yeah, a little European greeting there over in Paris. Great stuff.
That's just what a roommate's for. And now McKenna Steinow was waiting for her free possession opportunity. I have to imagine she's ready to shoot, really a straightaway opportunity.
Yeah, the official had to come over and deliver the word. I believe it's a misdemeanor there on Mackenzie Woodson.
She's had a few today where she has been the cause of contact, and obviously one of the main points for this Randolph squad, especially in that midfield. Trying to get the ball back for Randolph and just create an opportunity. Hornets would like to hold this one out. A team that has possessed well throughout this contest. It's an opportunity for Poitras, who places it perfectly.
This is fantastic. If we get a replay, you'll see how she drops this left shoulder, really gets some speed that way, and also makes it tough for the defender to wall her off. And then when she beats the defender, it's basically easy pickings from that point, just cooking a goaltender. Yeah.
That's so difficult with her speed as well because, you know, she might be a little undersized, but it's the fact that she can get into those places where this defense is really going to struggle preventing any action from.
Absolutely right, and that's the body control there. That's what the great players can do. They can get that angle when they're changing directions, drop that shoulder. You saw that in the track meet today. You look at those events where you got to run the curve, the 200, the 400. So much of that is who runs that curve better.
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing that Liz Poitras did right there with the change of direction. Fantastic body control and athleticism.
Something that we've talked about in the past with some of these athletes as well. Speed is one thing, but changing speeds is another. And the great athletes have the ability to stop on a dime. And what lacrosse has really been about in the recent years, how many players can get right close to the goal and be able to stop and pop? Hornets still heading towards the goal. Got to be careful now. Steinow spins out of trouble. Might have been a smart move just to try and lace one up. Instead, the Hornets want to possess, and smartly so. They have dominated it here in this first quarter, now up 10.
I think back to that patience, though. I mean, that was really interesting there, the way she spun and opted not to shoot. That took some restraint there on that one.
But especially for an attacker.
Exactly right.
Hornets with chances. Just north of a minute here in the first 15. We'll have to check and see how many different Hornets have gotten a goal. In layman's terms, it's been several.
It's 7. 10 goals from 7 players.
And Steinow was ready to bounce it in. Stick on the ground. Maybe a little anticlimactic, but she spun out of trouble a few seconds before, and it pays off on the other end.
Back to the diversity in shot placement. We've seen Lynchburg go up high. We see Lynchburg go down low as well, finding ways to score.
I mean, look at that. 4 or 5 defenders, and you're still finding an opening. It just shows how poised this offense is.
Yeah, and the high skill there on the bounce shot to bounce it far enough in front that it actually, if you could see there, was closer to the top bar of the goal when it finally did get into the cage. So real skill there on the bounce shot, and practicing on the turf at Shelley, I'm sure helps all those little minute characteristics of how it's going to come off there.
A lot of familiarity and a lot of scoring from this Lynchburg team. 11 goals on 19 shots. That's all the story you need to know so far. Randolph struggling to get on the board. We'll see if they can possess a little more here in the second quarter. We'll be right back on Schellenberger.
Get your career in the game by enrolling in the University of Lynchburg MBA program with an emphasis in sport management. This program opens the doors to new possibilities for a variety of careers, from being an athletic director or working in athletic administration to working for professional organizations, your favorite team, to running a local Parks and Rec department. And employers are increasingly requesting and preferring individuals who have postgraduate education, specifically looking for an MBA. And so the University of Lynchburg Sport Management concentration in the MBA program sets you up for success, and it sets you apart from the many other people looking for jobs in the industry. Learn from winners. Here you will learn from professors and mentors who have spent their careers doing exactly what you want to do. Increase your marketability in an $83 billion industry. If you have a 3.0 GPA, the GMAT is waived. There's no application fee, admissions occurs on a rolling basis, and our online program is ideal for working adults. When you enroll in this program, you enroll in the opportunity to learn from the best of the best. Your professors have a wealth of experience working in the sport industry that they share with you in the classroom setting. Get in the game by getting your MBA with a sport management concentration at the University of Lynchburg. You know, Hollywood, here I come. Hey, I meant, yeah.
Either. The real Lindsay Piper's here.
Autographs there later. Let's.
Through 15 minutes, and already a lot of numbers to break down from this Hornets offense. They have put on a display between 7 different scorers and also a few different players with multiple assists. Reagan Bradley, who has tallied 2, as well as McKenna Steinow. They have really operated at a high level.
It's actually 8 goal scorers now, Evan.
Right.
I lied to you in the break.
Steinow just got her first, and, that's so crazy because it feels like she's had so many chances. She's saying, okay, she's one of the 7.
Well, and Lacrosse fans, I take the blame for that. I threw my guy under the bus right there. He asked me right before we came on, still 7 goal scorers, right? No, it's 8. It's 11 goals from 8 different goal scorers for Lynchburg. Still want to see a Meredith Bornholt goal.
We're waiting.
If it doesn't happen here in the second quarter, I'm gonna wire down to the sideline to Coach Rafferty and say that that's what I want, because it's all about me.
That's right. Listen, your game plan has been good and all,
right.
But by the way,
teams switch sides, and here we go. Randolph get a draw control, Evan. So let's see if the Wildcats can get a little momentum. I've liked how they've played hard under tough conditions, obviously. But if Randolph could get a goal, that would be a nice little momentum piece for them. And I know for Lynchburg, they want to be rock solid. They want a shutout.
It can be difficult, too, when you have played so much defense in a game, because you might want to be a little more conservative on an offense, whereas, to get a goal against the Hornets, you do need to attack a little bit.
That's exactly right. You have no rhythm. You haven't been on offense yet, so that can be really difficult. And you saw right there as Randolph gave it up. Lynchburg now in transition with a chance.
They'll use their options, and so the clear is successful. Lynchburg using the services of Taylor Doherty. Nice pass. Oh, wow. Norco trying to go around the shoulder.
highlight reel stuff. Even though it didn't go in, still a highlight reel type of opportunity from Jenna Norco. Does anybody have more fun out there than Jenna Norco?
I'm not sure, because I'll tell you, it doesn't matter what conditions are going out there. It doesn't matter what type of game. She is always the one jumping around in warm-ups.
Yeah, Sydney Dumas too. Got to
That's
have
right.
her in the upper echelon for sure as far as people that have fun.
Oh, wow, Norco goes around the block. Steinow tried to make it happen. Now Neely. Pass inside to Dumas and waxes it home. First option doesn't work from Norco. Second, off the mark from Steinow. It is brilliant resurgence from this Lynchburg offense, who will not be denied.
Yeah, that was attack, re-attack, third time's the charm type of setup here. And Dumas, yeah, just laces it. Excellent shot. She's got a hat trick, 3 for Dumas. And now it's 12 for Lynchburg. Hat trick number 8 on the season for Sydney Dumas.
And hopefully more to come, because we know what she has done and what she has meant for this roster. Going to take a look at the bigger picture, Kyle. I mean, this team has been really all about coming back and just the perseverance. This is a team that last year, if you look back, just one losing streak all year, and it was when they lost 3 straight. They never dropped consecutive games in another category. I mean, you hope that that's the case this year. They came back after that Randolph-Macon loss, just a 1-point affair. You understand that's what you're going to need, and if you start those habits now, like we said, when things get tough near the end of April, you're going to be ready.
That's exactly right. That competitive spirit, you build that in practice. You build that with the team connection, and this team has all of those things. The new pieces have fit right in, as we've said. And Coach Rafferty, I think the team is really kind of responding and taking on her personality a little bit. She is a very competitive person, and it's just great to see it. Energy and passion on the sideline, translating on the field. Lynchburg's playing at a high level. They do not have any shutouts this season, though, Evan, so I think that'll be another box they would like to check here after today. Still a lot of work to do. Bulk of the second quarter is still to play.
Well, credit to Alexis Sen and what she has done in goal for Lynchburg. Haven't really had much of a chance to talk about what she has done this season, and there have been a lot of lopsided results, whether they were wins or losses for this Hornet squad, but having an anchor in goal has not only helped the defense, but Carson Quigley, somebody who has also been involved around the field. She just scored a goal on cue. Number 3, and White finds the opening and slots it home. Another example, you need Sen in goal so Quigley can go get hers on the other end.
Carson Quigley, one of those 4 seniors that we love. She find the back of the cage again. Good setup here. Yeah, spins away from the contact, running the alleyway, bang.
It's one of those longer shots. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not exactly one from midfield, but you're starting to see the range, and the Hornets not afraid to fire.
Yeah, and again, that's just great feel from Quigley because, she sees that the defenders are coming to cut her off, so she's got to shoot a little bit earlier and puts it on target. So it's really just fantastic lacrosse right there. Believe first goal of the game for Quigley. Yes. Senior on the board for the 6th time this season, and you were in the midst of talking about how she has, in the past, and even this year some, had to do double duty as a goalie.
Obviously, it's not uncommon to see players kind of do a little bit of both in lacrosse. I mean, if you have a larger roster, you might have just exclusive goalkeepers. Even think about Randolph and what they have been doing this season, having Norville in goal. That's really been the main instruction, but it does feel like Quigley has just been such a help to the squad, and Coach Rafferty's been so high on her as well. Just the fact, it's whatever I need to do to help this team win. And obviously going in goal probably wasn't the first thought going into last season.
Yeah, team player. I think the phrase I used our last game together was goalies don't exactly grow on trees, and that's absolutely true. So the fact that Quigley can jump in there when needed, fantastic option for Lynchburg.
We'll see if this Randolph squad has an option ready to fire, and Alexis Sen collects and distributes.
Good save there for Sin. Hey, that's tougher than you think. Your team's leading 13-0, but if you're Alexis Sin, you hadn't really faced a shot yet, so that can be difficult. You've lost your rhythm as a goalie as well.
Doesn't help that the one shooting is the leading scorer for Randolph, Mackenzie Woodson.
Yeah, you could see the speed there from Woodson, couldn't you? She had nice moves.
Unable to connect that time, and the shutout is preserved momentarily. This Lynchburg team has found a lot of success as of late. 7-3 on the season, 6-1 in the non-conference. This is game number 5 at home. They're currently 500, 2-2. And Kyle, we mentioned the first 2 games were CNU and W&L. Not exactly the easiest draw up, but the Hornets have put up some crooked numbers the last 2 times out, looking like a 3rd time ensuing.
Yeah, Lynchburg is really taking care of business here. They've won 5 of 6. March has been very good for the Hornets, but they want more. You can tell from this game that they want more. Sometimes when a team comes in with those numbers, take the foot off the gas a little bit. We have not seen that at all here on this Saturday night.
What a brilliant showing, and it's gone all the way into the bench as well. Here comes Steinau, ripped away, and the referee intervenes. Looks like Randolph's going to possess with under 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
Fantastic move by Steinau, but then lost it as she was about to shoot. Luckily, Lynchburg has got the ball right back, and they'll go looking for more. On the hunt here with 7.5 to play in half number 1.
This Randolph team not wasting any time, just trying to find the window, but Lynchburg has really been patient, getting possession back, and it's really starting to work out.
Yeah, I love the patience from Lynchburg. I know we've said that, might be getting old, but they continue to showcase it. Even up 13-0, they're not rushing things. They're not taking wild shots. Everything is as the plan would have indicated for Lynchburg. They lose one in front of the cage. Norville's going to sprint out of there with it. High pressure here from Lynchburg. Full field ride again, making it really tough on Randolph to clear.
This is another example. Jenna Norco's just not afraid, not backing down from any opportunity. Norville just surveying. The problem is now the goal's unattended. Just going to get the pass forward. Hornets deny it. And right back to business offensively. Norco spills it into the front. Who wants it? Quigley with the ground ball.
Norville tried to come out of the crease there and take that long pass away, almost the way a soccer goalie does on a long cross or a corner kick.
Very dangerous with the way that the Hornets have been shooting. This one goes out. Hornets will keep it with 70 on the shot clock.
Got a restart here for Lynchburg. But I like that from, actually, it's going to be Randolph ball, beg your pardon, Evan. I like that from Norville, though. You know, you think as a goalie, again, you've got the biggest basket back there. So I don't mind a goalie that's a little bit more mobile, and if you read a pass, go try to take it out of the air. Go try to intercept it, free safety style. You know, it's not always a bad play.
Well, any way that you can rough the game plan up is going to help, too, because obviously Lynchburg is getting their shots and numbers, and if you just start to present a different option, you know, again, it might even not work out statistically, but you're just making the work a little more difficult, and a brilliant save as a response. Norville gets down on one knee that time. Sophomore from Sunrise, Florida, one of just 2 players on this Randolph team not from the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I think she's a lot better than the numbers would indicate. Another long pass there that Lynchburg just pounces on.
Poitras insertion in the middle of the field. Steinau ready to rip. Another opportunity. This Lynchburg team absolutely relentless.
They really are, and again, not to pick on Randolph, but just a little too static and stagnant on the clear. You almost have to use your offensive principles back there, Evan. You got to have your pass receivers cut and move. You can't just be a stationary target because that becomes too easy for Lynchburg.
It feels like, you know, static's a good way to put it, too, because Randolph has denied the Hornets a few times. They just haven't been able to get the clear.
Yeah, and then Norville just ends up facing shot after shot and may be facing another one here for Lynchburg as the Hornets, again, patience, working it around the horn, probing and methodical with the offensive possessions here on top, 13-0.
Well, if you're just joining us here on LHSN, it has been an impressive showing as McKenna Steinau wastes no time. Another goal in the stat sheet. One of the main attackers on this Hornets squad finds the net again. If you look back at that first quarter, Randolph couldn't clear in their 6 attempts. Lynchburg didn't need one. Not a single clear attempt as their offense has been fully functioning. Another look at a great pass, a lead Steinau right to the promised land, and she fires home.
Reagan Bradley, the quarterback, throwing another dime in the middle. Reagan Bradley's got 3 assists and 3 goals, by the way. There's a lacrosse term for that, but for now we'll just call it a double hat trick. Really impressive there from Reagan Bradley. And that was not a freelance play. Lynchburg had a set play there with all the other offensive players up top, and then it was Steinau running the alleyway there and just catch and shoot for one more Lynchburg goal.
I mean, it has really started to look easy. They say it's a triple threat performance.
Oh, okay,
That's
nice.
According to Google, our best
Nice.
friend.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Let's hope that citation's right.
Well, it'd be really cool, too, is if you could get 3 draw controls, 3 ground balls, something like
Oh, my
that. Just make
goodness.
threes wild, of 5 threes there to win your poker hand, that kind of thing.
You've got your deuces wild saying in
Yeah.
baseball, and I know it because everybody else who's called baseball here at Lynchburg has taken it.
Wow.
But I need to hear what it would be if it was a double triple or a triple triple. And we got to figure that one out.
We do. Or just create something of our own. This Lynchburg team, though, very creative on the offensive side. It is a nice blend of the set packages, set cuts and places to go, areas of the field, then also, as we've said, some freelance opportunities as well.
The thing about lacrosse is you do have an extended shot clock, and you do have a lot of chances to freelance just like that one. It's cut after cut, goal after goal for this Lynchburg team. They are continuing to make a habit of scoring. This time, Bella Vogel on the board, and the freshman has really started to score at a high rate. Had 2 versus Randolph, making a critical game, and Isabella has just really been impressive.
I think Lynchburg's got 10 in the scorebooks now. 10 Lynchburg players have scored, really divvying up the workload here for Lynchburg, getting people involved, getting people chances, and they're making the most of those opportunities.
Isabella Vogel, the freshman from Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania, having herself a start to the season. She and Liz Poitras, 2 of those freshmen that we've talked about at length. Got to imagine that there are a few more performances in the cards. There are only 2 more home games after this one. So, selfishly, we're hoping Lynchburg maybe gets one in the ODAC tournament, but those spots are reserved. It's difficult to get there. You know what WNL and Roanoke is doing at the top of the conference. We'll just have to wait and see, and you wonder if that Randolph-Macon loss will put that game in Ashland in an ODAC quarterfinal, of course, speaking in the hypothetical.
Yeah, and that's another great goal for Lynchburg to try to achieve this season and moving forward, host that first-round game. And then, again, as you continue to build as a program, then you start thinking about, hey, let's win an ODAC regular season. Let's win an ODAC tournament. All those things will be in play for the Hornets. If they continue the hard work, you got to get a break or 2. And, my goodness, Lynchburg's got another goal here to end the first half.
Well, what a whirlwind we have seen to end the second quarter. Those goals don't really seem that far out there with the way Lynchburg is playing today. 16 on the scoreboard. You got a March Madness section. Quarter of the bracket. Go ahead, fill it in. Lynchburg is filling in the stat sheet with Hassauer's goal. And look at this. Just the extra wraparound creates space right in the middle of the field, one-on-one with the goalie.
That was high velocity, too, from Hassauer. That was really nice. And Vogel with some patience. She had the initial cut. Got the ball in front, didn't like the look, and then reversed course. And then the trailer coming in there, Hassauer, that was nice. I mean, that was clinical for Lynchburg.
Back to the draw circle. Probably won't matter. We might have an extra stat from it, but it's going to hit zeros, and we are going to hit the first half break. 16 goals on 28 shots. The Lynchburg offense is functioning and alive and well. They have been sensational, and we have seen a slew of scores on the stat sheet. Alexis Sin right now defending a shutout for the Hornets. We'll see if they can get there on the other side. We'll have our halftime stats and analysis. Evan and Kyle hanging with you on a Saturday evening.
My name is Davion Washington Jr. I have the honor of serving as the student body president. I have 5 little siblings. I'm the oldest of, 6 siblings, and they look up to me. I'm setting the tone. I get to develop myself, make myself a better individual, but also I'm helping future generations, not even my family, but just future generations in general. I found my passion here. I found, the love for what I want to do. I just really had an amazing time here. It's changed, like, my outlook on life. You don't have to be famous to change lives. You don't have to be on the big screen or whatever. I change lives now, and I hope to continue to do that. Just same way that the University of Lynchburg has changed my life for the better.
At the University of Lynchburg, we've lowered our tuition, so you get a better value for a great education. Come see our campus for yourself.
All right, my name is Joshua Carr. I am a senior. I am a theater major as well as a history minor. I love the arts. I love acting. I love entertaining. I live in 5th Street, the historic black neighborhood. The money came in, transfer, scholarship, all that. I appreciate that greatly. I pay my own tuition. I ain't got no help. I pay everything myself. I mean, I'm smart too. So they gave it like, you smart, here. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that though. You come here to do a job. I came here to do a job. A student's job is to get that degree and make something of ourselves. We got everything for you. We got you a 24-hour library. You got these sorority fraternities. We got the shoot for you. Is you gonna put it on? That's how University of Lynchburg is. Success is in the details. You know what I'm saying? It's like you learn it, know better, do better. What I love is they allow us to speak. They want our voices to be heard. They want us to talk. They want us to bring up the discomfort. They respect our point of views. They respect Black Lives Matter. They respect the LGBT community. They respect those, you know what I'm saying? That's what I love about my school. They respect that and they allow us to showcase and voice our expressions. I love the diversity here. I love the different interests of people here. I can act, dance, sing, box, play football. I can do it all, you know what I'm saying? I can teach somebody that doesn't know what I know, and that person can teach me something that I don't know that they know. That's what you get here. You get diversity, you get different people with different knowledge coming together, sharing information and helping each other out. That's what I love. That's why I say people. I love the people here. College, think about it. If it's not for you, fall back. If it's for you, go further with it. And University of Lynchburg will be that choice. It's gonna be right there. They're gonna make the shoe. They're gonna do what it do. It's up for you to put that shoe on. So that's what I say.
Welcome to the Campus Recreational Department at the University of Lynchburg. We believe in a student-centered approach to recreation, making sure that all students have fun and engaging activities that promotes wellness, personal growth, and community building.
Our team works to provide a variety of recreation opportunities for all our undergrad and graduate students.
Let's take a look at the different areas of Campus Rec.
Campus Recreation covers all outdoor recreation. Our team offers dozens of trips per semester, maintains recreation facilities on campus, and offers outdoor certificates and leadership training.
Intramurals is open to all students who wants to play on a team. We have men's, women's, and co-ed leagues for each sport we offer.
Those looking for next level competition can join club sports. These are student-led organizations with the support of Campus Recreation. You can join one of our established club sports, or you can start your own with our support.
Campus Recreation offers an excellent amount of opportunities to stay active, make new friends, and develop new skills. We hope to see you soon.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves. Every great college has a great city. For Lynchburg, we are near urban areas with lots of restaurants, shopping, and events. Plus, we are one of the top schools in the area. Come see for yourself.
This is the dough. It's wicked cute. It's always so pretty.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them, because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm going to be very sad to go.
Evan and Kyle hanging with you on a beautiful Saturday evening. Lynchburg taking on Randolph, 16-0 here in this women's lacrosse toss-up. The Hornets trying to go 8-3. When you look back at last year, the record ended up being very tight to end the campaign, and you had to figure that it was going to be another tightly contested year. A lot of similar characters. The Hornets have taken a big jump. They're showing us why in these games.
I think it's a fantastic first half for Lynchburg. They haven't done anything to rub it in, run it up, belittle Randolph in any way. Lynchburg is just playing very hard, playing their brand of lacrosse. We're seeing some great things from the Hornets all the way around, really sharing the load with the goal scoring. Sydney Dumas has got another hat trick, though. And how about Reagan Bradley? 3 goals, 3 assists. We're still working on different names for that. Any way you slice it, it's a fantastic first half for Reagan Bradley and the rest of the Hornets, especially those 4 Hornet seniors.
Still waiting for Meredith Bornholt to get on the board. The other 3 have completed the mission, and I don't think we're criticizing Meredith because she really hasn't been as active as you probably have seen in recent games for the Hornets in that back line. We understand that for Meredith Bornholt, someone who has really stepped up and finished every single mission for Lynchburg. This team has been on the other side of the field, and in that first quarter didn't even have a clear attempt. They were continuing to pounce on offense. And so for Randolph, you have these conversations at halftime if you're Coach Bruce Reed. Kyle, what do you think is not necessarily the new game plan, but just the mentality for these next 30 minutes?
Well, I think for Randolph, you want to continue to play hard. Probably not a lot of major adjustments. I mean, obviously, I think I've mentioned on the clear, I'd like to see a bit more player movement from Randolph, so that might have been talked about. But we know Bruce Reed. He was the longtime coach here at Lynchburg. We haven't really talked about that a lot. But Bruce Reed's going to encourage his ladies to continue to play hard, play smart. If you get a chance to score a goal, make sure you finish it off. Let's try to not get shut out. And for Lynchburg, a lot of the same things. Play hard, stick to your principles, stick to the game plan. Make sure you're having some fun out there. Lynchburg has done that.
Going back down Coach Reed's resume, he had 13 straight 500 or better seasons, and he had really started to show the ODAC what this team was about. 2016, they had a 7-2 record and earned the 3 seed in the ODAC tournament, got to the semifinals. One of the measurements, it's tough when W&L has won every ODAC but one, going back to 2003, as the Hornets are on the board again. This one a quiet one, just bouncing it in, and another one added to the tally. This one belongs to Liz Poitras again, so the freshman continuing her scoring ways.
She's really making a statement as a first year, isn't she? A great change of direction there, moves away from the goal, which we talk about is sometimes even harder to defend when you penetrate and then you sort of float away, the little fadeaway jumper, if you will. And Poitras knocks another one down here. Never a bad idea to sneak some basketball references in during the March Madness time. In April, you just got to throw those out the window, even though the national championship isn't until April, but still.
We're both NBA fans too,
Yeah.
Kyle. We've talked about it before. It's such a shame that people forget basketball is happening after April whatevereth, when the championship happens.
The pros and the cons of that branding of March Madness. You got a little bit of each.
Now, you got to wonder, too, because lacrosse is a sport that obviously is played in the warmer weather, so things have started to heat up. But, there are more and more sports that are being competed in March and April, and it's always been the best sports month. But now you have these other sports like F1 is coming back. You've got these other newly popularized sports coming to America's attention.
Well, just on campus today, you think there was softball, there was the track and field meet, there was beach volleyball. That was all on campus, and then the baseball team was on the road for Lynchburg. So, yeah, it is really a very, very busy time. Great time to be a sports fan. Uh-oh, not good for Randolph. Botched clear.
Empty goal, Strano ready to go to Jamie Thomas, and save acquired. Nice work as the Wildcats able to move back.
I believe Norville's got 9 saves now. Mariah Norville, she's impressed. And again, I know that might sound, I don't know how it sounds to the fans because Randolph is down 17-0. But I think we have both been impressed by the goalie, Mariah Norville, and what she has had to do at times. Really good hand-eye coordination for her on that save.
Impressive stuff, and continuing to just try to operate when the Hornets have their miscues, albeit there's been at a very low rate. Lynchburg's done a lot of stuff right today, 30-1 in the shot department. Want to revisit some of the Lynchburg sports from today just to put this into perspective of how many different events have gone on, and then try to refresh us on some of those results. So you had track and field yesterday and today around the oval here at Jack M. Tom's track. Equestrian gets the victory versus Sweetbriar, the ODAC championship, probably the one that you would star on the schedule. Baseball splits a doubleheader in Pulaski. They lost 8-7, won 11-1 versus Roanoke, so that was obviously a neutral site battle as Jamie Thomas trying to get a little bit of steam, this time swallowed up in goal.
Another good one from Norville. Go on, though, and a big shout-out to Equestrian there for another ODAC championship, another bell-ringing opportunity.
Wonder if the bell has already been rung, if it's going to ring during the game?
They did, well, yeah, I don't know. That was me just trying to fill space with something, and I really didn't have a good answer.
Here's the thing. Those perennial winners, and I've seen it especially with the track and field team. It used to be, I don't want to sound cocky saying this, but that track and field team that has really won year after year, it is special to a lot of the freshmen, but then you see some of them, you're like, yeah, like we've rang it a few times. Don't want to get it caught up and have to climb up again to get the rope down. But we'll have to wait and see if the sounds are ringing during this game. To continue, softball played a doubleheader versus EMU. The results are not in, so we'll have to ask around and see how that one ends up. Tennis played. Beach volleyball had Code Red on campus. This is incredible how large the slate was. Now the Hornets and Strano ready to go. This one saved again. Norville putting on a little clinic here to start this third quarter. Just one goal allowed in the first 5 minutes. Little change of the trajectory.
Yeah, nice swashbuckling and open space there by Emily Taduran there with some good moves. And, yeah, Norville, again, she's exciting back there in the cage. You know, I think it is tough to talk about in such a lopsided game, but she has seen a lot of rubber, and she's made a lot of saves.
We've seen really a large number of these defenders back there for Randolph pressed into action, and you usually think about your attackers and your midfielders as the one that are probably going to have some heavy legs coming out of the break. Well, Randolph has kind of been in that department with Anna Niles back there, number 6, number 17, Gracie Oliver. Both really handling a heavy number of duties.
Yeah, and Randolph just right now, they're in a different phase and a different trajectory for their program than Lynchburg is. Their goals and their wins and losses are going to be judged slightly different than a team like Lynchburg, and that's okay. Teams rise and fall all the time. You and I are Major League Baseball fans. We see that all the time, right? Teams will be in that rebuilding phase. But for Randolph, I think, again, accumulate some positives both in this game and this season and continue to work and get better, and you continue to recruit talent. And, you look up in a year or two, and you never know where you might find yourself.
It's a beautiful thing about sports. Last year is not a representation of who you are now, nor will next year be. There's always different squads. That's why senior day is so important, so much fun. Every team's a little bit different. This time, Hossauer dodges and weaving. Referee intervenes. Looks like 3 positions on the way. Straightaway chance for the sophomore out of Pinehurst. Ready to fire. Really one-on-one. We'll see if Lynchburg likes to go outside. They do. Great pass inside. Oh, that was nifty. Right in front of the goal for Strano, who strings it home.
A fantastic setup right here off the free position. Fabulously designed play. Strano with the fast feet to get to the middle. Didn't miss that time. Gonna get to see the whole thing here. Go ahead.
It's so deceptive. I mean, Hossauer is almost looking. You saw where her head went, and it never just telegraphed this one. You talk about that in basketball a lot, but Strano really comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, came out of nowhere there, beat one defender, and then had to shoot it in a crowd. You know, there was a trio of Wildcat players that really converged, but the timing from Strano was too good.
That was impeccable stuff. Back to the circle we go with just over 7 minutes to go here in this third quarter. Got to get your word on this one. So baseball played that doubleheader. We were talking about it being neutral site in Pulaski. You have any insight why it was a neutral site game?
I guess Roanoke will typically play at the Salem Red Sox Stadium, but that was unavailable this weekend for something, even though the Red Sox in Salem have not cranked up just yet. But I guess the field was unavailable. They went to Calfee Park in Pulaski, which is a former minor league stadium, and now host the Pulaski River
Turtles.
River Turtles.
Yes,
that's right.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah. So that's a collegiate wood bat summer league now. That whole Appalachian League transitioned over to that. But a great ballpark there in Pulaski. Fabulous setting. So just a little bit of a longer drive, but still a very nice place to play. And Lynchburg comes out with a split. You know, sometimes people are shocked when the Lynchburg baseball team loses, but it's baseball. You know, everybody beats everybody. And the Roanoke Maroons are having a fantastic year themselves. So I think a pretty good weekend overall. And the standard is so high, right? I mean, it is a penalty, the penalty of excellence. Watch out.
Oh, great save again. Norville gets that stick up. Strano ready to get another one.
Yeah, another great save. Good setup. I think Strano would love to have that one back. And that's one as an attacker you file away and you say maybe next time I will go low if I get another shot and attempt like that. And that's what the good attackers do anyway. You don't want to become too predictable. And if the goalie has shown you she's going to take away one area, try something else next time.
Back to round 2, round 3 in the deck of cards, trying to figure out what options work. And Lynchburg has used several today. You know, even mentioning with Coach Rafferty, there's a loss to Randolph-Macon, right? And it's in the regular season. It is ultimately the hope for this Lynchburg team that it's the opposite of what happened last year, where the Hornets beat Randolph-Macon in the regular season, then dropped the ODAC quarterfinals contest. And Coach Rafferty saying, yeah, we dropped this one. We know it was tight, but we know exactly what we can do, and we came out of that game with confidence. And you got to think, if you lose a game in the final 10 seconds, there's obviously nothing to feel too ashamed about, knowing this team went neck and neck the whole way.
Fantastic points by you. You got to take some confidence away from it. Yes, you have to learn from it. You have to say, what are we going to do differently next game, and then next time we play Randolph-Macon.
Ooh, Norco denied on the doorstep.
Another good save from Norville. Just put that on tape and play it over and over again. She's really done well between the pipes for Randolph despite letting in 18.
Definitely protecting that top shelf now. We've seen Lynchburg go there a few times. That's where they got several of those opening goals. Now Poitras using her speed, ready to wrap around, and it looked like it might have greased the pipe. Super close.
Good hustle by Strano to get to it first, or be the first closest to it, I guess you would say. Which is the rule, of course. Go ahead.
Norville had to hustle back, too. She was out from the crease. That's always an interesting rule, too, because, you know, we mentioned even with possession in lacrosse, it's so different, but it's very difficult for the typical sports fans who are used to out of bounds or that traditional whose ball is it referee's going to decide. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, and if you don't know, it's not who it was last touched off of or anything like that. It's which player is closest to the ball when it goes out of bounds. So, yeah, it is always fun when you see a goalie sprint after one. And you saw the sprint there that time. That was Hassauer that got closest to that one for Lynchburg.
Oh, another connection. Seamless work from the Hornets. Who else than Liz Poitras? The hat tricks continue stacking up. Might need to go and get a new sort of fashion wear. She's starting to get a lot for the wardrobe. And look at this. This is just a great pass over the top and in.
Yeah, Lynchburg really making use of that kind of skyway pass, the bridge over the defense there, catching up high and a lot of times keeping it up high, just comes straight down with the shot. I really love how Lynchburg is making that work for them offensively. Up to 19, had the stat when we came on. Lynchburg has been over 20 goals, 20 or more, 4 times this season, and 3 out of the last 5 Lynchburg have gotten the 20-goal mark. So they appear to be well on their way for that as we get a timeout on the field. Evan, Lynchburg on top, 19-0, 2:29 left to play in the third on LHSN.
Senior Day festivities across the board, and who else than Meredith Bornholt? You want to play charades, Kyle? Don't know what they're discussing.
I don't know, but we wanted to talk about Meredith Bornholt on senior night, but she hasn't had to do much defensively. We feel that maybe they should insert her on the offense to try to get Meredith Bornholt a goal, but she's such a team player. She's probably more than happy to let the actual attackers and midfielders do the dirty work up front, do the slimy stuff up front, scoring
That's
the
right.
goals.
I mean, just weaving in and out. I mean, you got to think about this, right? We're being selfish, getting Bornholt a goal in this game. What if it's somewhere down the road where it matters even more? Maybe it's one of those big games and there's that breakaway. You never know.
That's true.
That's the game.
Well, she is pretty quick, and she's a smart player. She knows on the clear when to just put the foot on the gas and accelerate out of trouble on her own. I think it was the Virginia Wesleyan game. Meredith Bornholt didn't play, and we were concerned that there was an injury. And she said, no, I won an award. I was actually in Richmond, and that was a game, of course, that got rescheduled, if you remember. So the team said, no, just honor that commitment with the award ceremony there in Richmond, and we'll handle it without you. Back to what great teams do. When one player is out, they don't miss a beat. They just roll on.
How many coaches are going to say that, too? Because obviously you understand time and situation, but to just allow that when you know what Bornholt means to this team, I mean, that's what seniors are really having to encounter all across the board. I mean, real life is just right outside the window.
Shot clock down to 6.
Got to get ready to fire. Oh, a nice move, a better denial. Shot clock still winding down. That is where this play concludes. No, shot clock will refresh to a full 60, and the Hornets could wind down this third quarter if they wanted to.
Play the recording again. Good save by Norville.
Does start to feel like a broken record, and you wonder as those numbers keep stacking up what the end of the year stats will look like. The Randolph team obviously will have some games down the stretch where they feel like they can go toe-to-toe with some of those ODAC opponents. But obviously this middle of the table has gotten so good. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Roanoke is really, you could say, in that upper echelon with WNL, the only team that has defeated them since 2003 for a title. But Bridgewater and Shenandoah, Randolph-Macon, all joined in the picture. Oh, an open pass, fire, and score. Jenna Norco in the dying seconds of the third quarter adds one to the tally. Lynchburg's got a 2 as their first number now, a 20-piece through 45 minutes of play here on Schellenberger. They're loving every second of it, and the seniors showing up and showing out.
This video isn't about me. It's about the limitless possibilities that the University of Lynchburg allows me to be. An athlete, an artist, an adventurer, a writer, a believer, a human. Because what I love about the University of Lynchburg is that they have a saying, here we're home. And honestly though, I think a better fit would be a home for everyone. Because it doesn't matter the color of your skin, the person you love, the God you pray to, the pronouns you use, the city you're from, the language you speak. University of Lynchburg gives you the greatest opportunity they can for you to be the absolute best version of yourself.
15 to play here in the Hill City. Randolph trying to find goal number 1 as Alexis Sin has stuck in goal for the Hornets. They've got a new alignment on the offensive side, and wow, it's pretty impressive just to see not only what Lynchburg has done. It's difficult to measure success and just the number of opportunities that they've had because so many games have been lopsided this year. But you got to think about this. The Hornets have continued to be consistent. It's showing up on the scoreboard. 11
goals in the first quarter for Lynchburg, 2 in the fifth, just 4 goals in the third quarter. I don't think Lynchburg's ready to hit the sheets just yet, Evan. I think they've still got more goals they want to score before bedtime here for Lynchburg. But let's again shout out the Randolph goalie, Mariah Norville. She had 8 saves at halftime. She had 8 in the third quarter alone. Wow. She's up to 16 saves for Randolph.
That is impressive. I mean, you look at the range, too, with how Lynchburg is shooting their goals. There hasn't been restricted to one particular angle. I mean, it is becoming obtuse, the number of opportunities. It has been left, right, front, and center. And, I mean, for Norville to be able to defend today, you understand, you've seen so many wraparounds from the Hornets. It's starting to get nifty.
Absolutely. I'm not great with geometry. I flunked it, actually. Forgot the protractor on the first day. But I've always said I'm going to procrastinate less, and I can't wait to get started on that in April, really.
Who needs math? I mean, sorry, Mrs. Moss back in 8th grade. Love you to death.
Well, and how about half the faculty here at Lynchburg? Not half the faculty, but a good chunk of the faculty is going to be upset with you
Kyle,
for saying that.
It's a liberal arts education. Trying to stick with the English, the communications. Don't give me the numbers now.
You have read that branding page on the website. I love that.
Not a walking advertisement, but just not trying to go back to calculus class.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, you don't need calculus to see what the Hornets have done this season. And they have really found high numbers of goal scoring. This is not the first time this year. 24 versus Otterbein. That was really another crooked number. They got 2 wins down in Florida, 2 down in North Carolina earlier on the trip. So their travel has been successful, but now starting to stack up on Shelley as well, trying to make it their 3rd straight win at home.
Yeah, they actually did go a little while before getting the first win here on the home turf. Part of that was, they played their 2 toughest opponents of the season, CNU and Washington and Lee were the first 2 home games. So schedule part of that, and I think Lynchburg with this goal-scoring barrage lately, part of that is the schedule too, is they'll just take the shot clock violation. But to continue the thought, you can't hold that against Lynchburg. You can't say, oh, well, the competition's been soft. That's not the players' fault. The players, all they can do is take on the team that's put in front of them and play their best. And I think Lynchburg's really done that lately. This is going to be win 6 out of the last 7 for Lynchburg. And you just have to really be impressed by that.
A lot of win streaks, too, especially in lacrosse, they can kind of go silent because you're not playing as many games. It's not like baseball or softball where you're getting 40 or 50 in a season. This team has made it exclamatory. I mean, every win has been dominant. They're showing up and showing out, and even on the road, they're coming back with some good news.
Yeah, I love that. A business trip for Lynchburg when they go on the road, and that's, I think, continuing to be the thought process for Mackenzie Rafferty. And that's another one, a piece that I think she really brings to the table there as we get some information handed to us. It's become a little rowdy in the press box here. It's not quite the Savage Arena yet, but it's a full press box, and it seems like everybody, including us, is having fun.
It's just that type of atmosphere, right? Been a long day. You had the track meet before. Going to need some vocal rest. You talk about the pitchers who go out and have like an extended outing. I think tomorrow is going to have to be heavy recovery.
Yeah, soak yourself in the ice bath. But yeah, it's a little bit of the silly season. They talk about the crossover season. This is the silly season right here.
It's just getting nuts. We're having fun with it, though. Now, if I don't talk to somebody in the grocery store tomorrow, though, I don't want them to be thinking it's a personal issue. Just be like, hey, give me a day. I'll be back.
Can we go back to lacrosse for a second? Fans are probably begging for that. Lynchburg is on the road again this Wednesday, April the 2nd. Not April Fool's Day, but the 2nd day of April. Lynchburg will have another short trip. They're going to hit the road to Amherst and take on Sweetbriar. And then it's next Saturday, a week from today, at Bridgewater. Lynchburg will be back at home hosting Avert on Wednesday, April the 9th. Wednesday, April the 9th is your next game on the turf here at Shelley. It'll be a 5 p.m. start time for that one, Evan.
few more games where we feel like the Hornets could really put up some big numbers, but you mentioned Bridgewater, all the opponents coming later this season. I mean, you're getting into deep-sea fishing territory because you know that this team is ready to fire. A lot of strong competition.
And nothing happens in a vacuum either, right? The other teams, they watch the tape. They're watching this right now or watching it tomorrow on the off day there to make sure, hey, what did Lynchburg do? Let's do some scouting and let's find out what's going on with Randolph, all those things. It's a great thing about the ODAC, very competitive. All the coaches are doing the homework. They're putting in the extra hours, putting in the extra reps to make sure their teams are ready.
Well, I mean, you see the highlight reels. Nothing is a secret nowadays. Put it on the disc, hit rewind, and watch it play. And, I mean, this Lynchburg team has really performed at a high level, but at the same time, a lot of other teams have as well. The ODAC features a lot of those score lines, and you understand that for this Hornets team, they've got to go out there with that same attacking mindset. And though they've gotten a lot of these games earlier in the schedule, you got to be ready when April arrives, and you feel like they're going to be.
I think so, and I think, some maybe not hard days of practice at this time of the season, but you want to make sure you're still ready. You have to balance being fresh and having the fitness level where you want it to be. You don't want to grind the players down, but you want to still stay sharp. The goalie has stayed sharp. Again, Mariah Norville with another one that she picks out of the sky. We just haven't seen Meredith Bornhold enough for Lynchburg. I hope they're listening and watching in Cincinnati, Ohio. You ever had the Skyline Chili, which is famous in Cincinnati? You've heard of this?
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten the chance to try it yet. Haven't been to a baseball game up there either. That's on the bucket list, the Reds Stadium.
Do you want to try to cross every team off of the bucket? Is that part of it, or specifically Cincinnati?
I'd like to, as long as the A's haven't moved to 5 different stadiums by the time that it happens. Suffering A's fan over here, but it's okay. We're enjoying it. What's your favorite stadium you've been to? Not just baseball, but stadiums in general.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, if you include all the sports, I don't know. I mean, I got to tell you, since we're watching lacrosse, let's talk about lacrosse. When they have the national championship at Lincoln Financial Field in Philly, have you ever seen that?
I have.
And that's on natural grass, by the way, which, is interesting because so many teams play on turf now that they talk about a lot of times the only game you'll play on natural grass could be the national championship game. So that's really cool to be able to have that. And, that's so many great stadiums and facilities out there that I wouldn't even know where to begin. But I have been to Wrigley Field, so that's probably got to be near the top, yeah.
And these stadiums are becoming multi-purpose, too. I mean, you talked about Lincoln Financial. You've got the lacrosse and the concerts, the football. But, wow, yeah, there's so many great locations.
That's a good idea. Let's have a concert
on
Schellenberger at some point.
You know it would be a good location, too, because you bring the nets down for lacrosse. You've got the D-zones and the track. I mean, you could really extend things out.
Yeah. It'd be really cool to have a concert after a game one night. We'll get that on the desk of Athletic Director John Waters and our wonderful president, Allison Morrison Shetler.
I was just
going to
say,
come together and approve it.
Whose decision does that end up being? Is that a collaborative effort?
I would think so. I'm not positive, but I would think many people have to sign off on that, but maybe
more than one.
Yeah.
As the shot clock winds
and
down.
when it goes wrong, we'll get the blame for it.
I know. You know what? They have graduation. Is that considered a concert? I mean,
that's a big crowd. You're right. Yeah, it's a good call.
It was warm last year. I remember being outside, and, I'm somebody who spends the entire winter talking about how I would love it to be summer. And the second that day happened, you're like, yeah, spring wasn't that bad. 60s were okay. We have maybe one final break, so we'll take it with them. 20-0, Lynchburg's leading. Evan and Kyle having some fun on a Saturday evening here on Schellenberger.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Alexis Sin, Lynchburg goalkeeper in her sophomore season, a transfer from West Virginia Wesleyan who has been pressed into action, and a lot of positive feedback from Coach Rafferty this season as she has really started to make an impact. A few more subs on the field for Lynchburg. They lead 20-0. We'll see if Randolph can get on the board in the final 7 minutes, and we have seen several scores throughout this contest. Lynchburg has not only used a variety, but they also have several with multiple goals.
Yeah, Reagan Bradley really the standout to me with 3 goals and 3 assists, but the list does not stop there. Let's go back to Alexis Sen for a second. She's made 1 save, and we've been, in awe of the goalie for Randolph, Mariah Norville. That's why it's so tough to judge a goalie because, yeah, you might make more saves. You also might make more goals. Then you get a game like Alexis Sen where she doesn't have to do much, but you can't hold that against her.
Right.
So, you get to those postseason awards, and yes, you look at the stats, but I think a lot of times for goalies, you also have to look at the eye test as well. You can't just go by the statistics for a goalie because there's so much to it. And even with the stats, it's not really factoring into how good's your defense, what did your defense do, those kinds of things. So very difficult there, but love the fact that Alexis Sen is on the roster. I feel like she's fit right in with the rest of the gals, and it seems to be a good mix this year for Lynchburg with the on-the-field stuff and then the personalities too, because that matters, as you know.
It sure does. Culture is such a big part of the game, and that is why Coach Rafferty, and obviously, keeping Micah Slacum on staff, that familiarity has really been a positive impact around campus. And you've seen this with several programs. I mean, we talk about how several of Coach Reed's recruits, who he is on the opposing sideline for Randolph today, they're still on this Lynchburg team, but you recognize in a few years it'll be different. Coach Rafferty will have her entire squad, and then, you think about a team even like women's basketball, Coach Allison Nichols, who's kind of right around that territory where next year will be exclusively recruited classes from Coach Nichols. It just starts to show the full culture and vision of what a coach wants.
Senior Maddie Friel for Randolph showcasing some good moves here and the speed. She got whacked from behind by Jamie Thomas. But, yeah, I think you're right about how much that culture matters and how you have to build as a coach and a coaching staff. So many pieces to that puzzle, so intricate, so many nuances. And it's part of the reason why we keep watching. If it was simple and easy to talk about, you wouldn't. It would be checkers. Nobody's watching checkers on ESPN.
That's right.
Because it's nothing against people that play checkers, but it's just not that much to it.
Not a lot, as this shot ricochets left. Alexis Sen had to be careful to preserve the shutout so far. I mean, you look at coaches around the world, not just in the lacrosse realm, but I mean, somebody like Dan Hurley, I think he's been one of the most popular options for people to look at on social media. And you just think about these people who are so passionate, you just can't help but think how much they care about their team. And that is ultimately what you want in a landscape, especially around D1, that has really monetized sports and it has changed it to be more of an advertised type of thing. You still want that love and loyalty, and I think in D3 you're seeing so much of it.
I think so, too. I think it is a thing about Lynchburg, too, that the Hornets do so well with all their teams, blending the different personalities, blending the competitive spirit, but doing it in the right way as well, playing with high integrity and getting it done in the classroom, too. Graduating, all those things matter for a program. And, again, I think it's something Lynchburg teams – up and down, men's and women's, they seem to get right year after year.
Really crazy to start thinking about graduation. Kind of sad with all the seniors on board as the Hornets almost had another option. Vogel elects to hold it off. You think about the fact that this the spring season. For track, it's the outdoor track season, but you think about how it's really only 6 or 7 weeks of the spring before conference championships and that sort of stuff arises. I mean, it goes so quickly, and then all of a sudden school's over. You just got to salivate and enjoy every second. You got to savor it.
Absolutely. Enjoy every sandwich for sure, and every game and every play because, yeah, I think some of it is tied to the weather, too, because once the weather finally gets nice, as we see Lynchburg just running out some clock again. So I think clearly I'm gonna sidebar here. I think Lynchburg choosing not to score anymore right now, which, again, is good sportsmanship. You can debate whether you like that from the Hornets or not, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But back to the spring sports. When the weather turns warm and you get into April, the season's basically over. I mean, you're on the downhill slide at that point. So spring season does seem like it really goes by quick. Winter sports, you got that Christmas break in there where sometimes, you'll play a little bit, but it's broken up into two halves almost. Whereas spring, it's like, finally when you can get outside with just shorts and a T-shirt on, the season's over. I mean, and you mentioned it earlier, lacrosse, you only get 17 games in the regular season, or maybe it's 18, but in that range there. So not a lot of opportunities to see your team play, and not a ton to watch them play at home either.
Not at all. And I mean, like you said, even about the weather, I think it's just psychological.
Mm-hmm.
You have the sun setting 7, 8 o'clock every day. You know, you're getting a little more time outside, and the days just go so quickly. Whereas in that basketball season, I mean, you're playing a 7 o'clock game, and it's already been dark for a few hours.
Yeah. You've had your afternoon nap in there, too. Or is that just me?
Oh, that was absolutely me. Back during the track days in high school, it would be indoor season. You know, you do your practice. It's already dark. When you're driving home, you just crash. And then your homework happens sometime after.
Yep. 40 seconds left in this ball game. I think it's going to be Lynchburg's first shutout of the year, Evan. Fantastic performance by the Hornets. Maybe they'll get one little cherry on top goal here at the buzzer maybe. I think they're content just to pass it around and work this clock down and get out of town, or get back into the locker room, rather, for Lynchburg with a 20-0 win.
Very emphatic fashion. They scored 10-plus in that first quarter, and it was a dominant display, and looks like it's safe not to reach blackjack tonight. But the Hornets, in their winning ways, continuing to operate. They have dropped just one game in recent history. You think about that, Randolph-Macon one was the lone loss, and now it's 6 of 7 for the Hornets. They beat Southern Virginia 20-3. Tonight, they beat Randolph 20-0. Alexis Sin able to keep the shutout, and all-around efforts very impressive from this committee offense.
Lynchburg 6 of 7, and they've hit the 20-goal mark in 4 of those last 6 wins, Evan. Congratulations to Mackenzie Rafferty and her squad. A Lynchburg victory, an ODAC win here on the turf, and on senior night as well. So it all went Lynchburg's way tonight.
You know, it's really difficult because you don't want to get too emotional yet. You're knowing that these seniors hopefully have a few more times on this field, and even though there are 2 more home games, as we said, the ODAC tournament has to be played, and you hope it's on Schellenberger for at least one more. But overall, Kyle, I mean, you think about what the Hornets accomplished today. Yes, it was a nice offensive effort, but I think it was the poise in the first quarter, because there was nothing that changed about this game plan. Even on shots that were missing, they were firing again. They were the first to those 50-50s, and, I mean, the draw control was incredible.
Draw control is really where it started for us. If you think back to that first quarter, I mean, I think Randolph had a decent shot in this game, but Lynchburg just scored, draw control, score again. And that was an 8-ball that Randolph never got out from behind for Lynchburg, win number 8 of the season. And they even up the conference record at 2-2 as well. So, again, all indicators good for Lynchburg. Hats off to Randolph. Again, I think they're just at a different phase and a trajectory right now in their program, but expect some good things from the Wildcats the rest of this year and going forward.
Absolutely. Lynchburg is definitely in positive territory. A lot to look forward to if you're a Hornets fan. They're on the road at Sweet Briar on Wednesday, at Bridgewater on Saturday. So sadly, we won't be able to talk with one another until April 9th, the Wednesday, when the Hornets are back home versus Averett. 5 o'clock start time. You better be there on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. But a big thanks to everybody in the LHSN crew. Kept things fruitful, had a fun Saturday evening. And, of course, our director, Kevin Nestor. I believe it's the first time director, Mr. Kevin, who also worked the track meet earlier. So we've had a lot of fun in the house. And, Kyle, I just think we've had a lot of fun today.
We've had a blast today. You did, like, more than double duty. You did, like, triple duty. Kevin Nestor sounded great on the track meet with you. And then he's going to watch racing of a different kind tomorrow. He's going to watch a little auto racing. That's right. Down there closer to home in Martinsville. So this is a big weekend for Kevin. We got to get him to bed, make sure he gets hydrated up, get some protein and some carbohydrates Take care of this man. Wrap him in bubble wrap or something.
That's right. Valuable for the rest of the season, as is everybody in this fantastic LHSN crew. But a big thanks to you for watching. Hope you are enjoying your Saturday and the rest of your weekend. And it's been a really fun one here in the Hill City. Lynchburg beats Randolph 20-0. He is Kyle Haney. I'm Evan Gates saying so long from the Hill City.